Hey gang, Tim from SproutVideo here. Customer stories are hard. It's challenging to produce them at scale, and it's even harder to make them feel real and authentic. That's why we spoke with Alex Hoff. Alex is a former reality TV developer, and he's behind a company called CoverStory. They create powerful customer testimonials. Alex shares tips for turning raw, unscripted moments into testimonial videos that engage your audience. Alex Hoff from CoverStory, great to see you. Thanks for joining us today.
Good to see you again.
Well, let's talk about your company, CoverStory, and let's talk about your journey and how you stumbled upon this business that creates testimonial videos.
At CoverStory, we are bringing documentary production techniques to businesses, and we do that mostly with customer testimonials. I used to make TV shows for Discovery Channel, National Geographic, Netflix. Every day, I would call up random people around America and around the world and say, hey, I think whatever you're doing, you're a chef, you're a gardener, you're a home renovator, you have a car shop, you're doing interesting and fascinating things that I think would be great for some of the networks that we work with. And I would talk to them like literally in the same way that we are now. We transform those into sales materials for TV shows where we go show networks, hey, we found this great, shark diver. What do you think? Should they be on the Shark Week? A lot of the same techniques that we used to sell TV shows can be used to help businesses sell themselves.
Well, Alex, CoverStory and your approach seems to have a unique differentiator around how you capture and tell stories. Can you share a little more insight into how your approach is different from what one might consider a traditional approach to capturing customer testimonials?
At the heart of our business, what we do best and better than anybody else is interviews. Nobody is going to find the right material, the right stories as good as we can. We sit down with people who maybe don't want to be on camera or people who are going to be too scripted, and we make them feel like they're just having coffee with a friend, right? We don't attack this from a place of having a script and saying, oh, he needs to say that they improved sales by 73%. Mm-hmm. What we really try to do is find a moment and a story that shows the full arc and ups and downs of somebody's discovery or usage or success with a product, right? It feels like something natural to us, but for a lot of businesses, they just want to show the great output at the end. Oh my gosh, they increased sales by 73%. Everybody always wants to focus on the results, but the most important thing is that up and down, right? I found this product at 4 a.m. I was in the weeds. My deal was about to fall apart, and I didn't think I was going to be able to do this, right? Everybody has these really unique moments of their journeys with a product or a company. You need to know that before part in order to make the rest of it relevant and important to your viewers. So that's really where we try to focus in on, is not making testimonials for everybody, but making one testimonial when somebody watches it, they say, oh, that's me, not stats or top of funnel marketing. We really want to go one-to-one on our interviews and then also one-to-one on the output and the testimonial itself.
So Alex, I know from working in B2B marketing, there's typically a traditional approach you'll take with customer testimonials. I'm curious how you take a free-form interview and piece it together into a compelling story.
Whatever somebody is talking at their most excited or emotional level is how we always start every single video. Oh my gosh, my factory was about to burn down and this product saved my life. It's about 25 seconds in the beginning of what we call the hook. I honestly don't care if it has to do with the rest of the 45 seconds of the video. That's where we start. And then there's a quick reset. Then we introduce somebody. Hi, I'm Bob. I run the factory. Probably about 30 seconds of storytelling, something unique about their business, maybe how they discovered the product. And then we go into the testimonial. Equally as important as the beginning is the end. Some people call it the zinger, the kumbaya. It needs to be just as strong because people can kind of tune out in the middle, and whatever the last thing that you see or hear is probably what's going to stick with you.
Yeah, Alex, the CoverStory approach, your formula is truly unique, and I can see it as taking something that's normally kind of boring and making it a really interesting story for the viewing audience. So here's the next question. I can certainly go conduct customer interviews myself, edit them, and create a testimonial to share on the website, etc. But what makes your approach a little different, and why would it make sense to outsource this instead of doing it ourselves in-house?
There's a couple advantages. One, and probably the biggest one, is that I can play dumb. I can say, oh, how did you find this company? How did this deal come about? And they'll explain it to me as a layman. When you're talking to a customer, you're protecting that relationship because whatever your product is more valuable to you and your customer than this testimonial. You're perhaps not going to get the most honest answer. They're probably going to tell you no matter what, you are always the first choice because everybody's trying to protect the relationship, when in actuality, they could have gone through 5 other companies. And then I think the other piece is that, self-recording. Nobody is good talking to a camera by themselves. To expect that your customers or your employees or you are going to be good at that, like off the bat, is crazy to me.
Yeah, man. I mean, like for this video series that we're doing right now, I will do like 20 takes to do an introduction, and I'm still not always happy with it. So it's really challenging, and I'm definitely not a skilled actor or presenter, which makes it even more challenging. And then if you think about the customers that we're interviewing, they're also likely not trained in being on camera with the lights and the sound, etc. So it makes a lot of sense.
Everybody thinks that reading scripts and reading lines is easier than being yourself. And I can promise you it is not. I've worked with hundreds of talents and hosts and whatever you want to say. Getting somebody to read a line perfectly is hard. It's a skill.
Yeah, I mean, acting is a skill that takes years of training, and most of us don't have those skills, so it makes a lot of sense. So my next question is, you've got multiple clients, you're juggling a lot of different projects at the same time. Could you share at a high level your workflow from research to creating the interview questions, to conducting the interviews, to post-production, to distribution? Can you go a little into your process for that?
We give our clients a Calendly link, right? And we give them a template email that says, hey, we're working with CoverStory. Click this link to book your time, because we want to make it easy on our clients and we want to make it easy on the people that we're interviewing. We have a really clean how-to page that goes through like picture by picture how to set up your camera. It literally has like a picture of somebody putting their camera, like as I have it, on a bunch of books. Then we use a remote recording service. You can use Zencastr or Riverside or any of those. We're going to spend 15 minutes setting up this interview so everybody looks good and it's not distracting. So from there, we pull down the video, and we've been using Adobe Premiere, which is amazing because it has a really great text to edit feature. You can literally just highlight and copy and paste into your timeline, which is amazing and such time saver. And then we have an internal review process. So that's really important to us, is that all of our videos don't just go straight out the door to the client. They are watched by one of our producers or somebody on the team. After that peer review process, we send it out to our clients, and then they receive the final version in a couple of different ways. There's a embed code. There's a HD downloadable clip for social media. And then we also make splash pages so that our clients know, hey, I have this perfect link. There's no ads. There's no weird stuff on it that they can go and they can send out to their clients, or they can put in the footer of their emails or in their newsletters. This isn't revolutionary, but it's a little thing that we're doing to go the extra step to say, hey, as a business, you probably have 25,000 logins. You don't need to do Vimeo. You don't need to do YouTube, because we use SproutVideo. Duh. And, we just try to take care of all of that video management as much as possible for clients too. On the other, coming from sales myself, like, we want to make products that sell. We don't want to make products that sit on your website. Tell us where you want to use it more, whether it's embed codes or email newsletters. That was a new one for us. Where we found ourselves is really successful niche businesses who know who their customers are and want to super serve them. And I think that's what's great about video right now, is that you can use the same tricks, tactics, and content but you can serve it really, really specifically to the right person at the right time to move sales. And then pull quotes too, because we have these transcripts. We're also able to say, hey, this is something that maybe didn't make the cut, but is a great soundbite for you. Or it's a piece of feedback for the company itself, right? I was doing an interview and somebody said, oh, our business is a little bit different than what they normally work with. And so one piece of their process didn't work for us. And so I took that and said, hey, just so you know, this was like a little piece of feedback that they gave. They probably wouldn't say that to you, but I thought it'd be helpful. And that was like, they were like, oh my gosh, this is great. It was just a little shift, but it only came out in that interview.
Yeah, Alex, there is so much value in these transcripts. I mean, think about it. A 30-minute, hour-long interview, thousands of words captured into a transcript. I have personally used them to uncover ideas, issues that our product team will benefit from knowing based on customers' feedback. Sales teams love to hear about some of the objections or challenges that customers have. And then for marketing, I mean, it's gold. There's gold in them, their words. There are sound bites, there are quotes, there's descriptions of products in the words of our customers. So lots of value and a lot to sift through. And in fact, we're starting to dabble in using AI to kind of help uncover insights from these transcripts. I'm curious if you all have taken that approach or if you use AI in other ways to help with workflows, video production, etc.
Where we find that we use a lot of the AI products is to improve video quality or to, like you said, go and search for specific words. We're sitting on a gold mine of information and material, and parsing that out is fascinating. And I think, hell, I'd even like to use it for our own clients too. I think what's really cool right now is that you're finding all of these kind of micro use cases, right? Where people are piecing together different platforms, different products, and to make something that works for them. And that's something that excites me on the AI side, is that it feels like with a little bit of effort, with a little bit of hacking together, you can create a workflow that's really seamless on that stuff, which in the past would take years or months to develop.
Okay, great. Well, helpful information about AI. Let's pivot over to the idea of repurposing content. And so you provide your clients with the raw interview, the transcript, a short form video. Can you share an example of how a customer might take this data, this information, and repurpose it in different ways?
Yeah, because what we are creating is so unique to each person. Our clients are finding unique uses for it. So we work with a great company called SuperPowers that works with entrepreneurs to match them with their right fit executive assistants. Our clients at SuperPowers have not only used the videos on their websites, they use them in their sales materials, and also, I don't know, it's kind of like in their pre-discovery meetings, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then also they have an email that goes out only to their clients. And they've started using them kind of as internal knowledge to say, oh, here's what another entrepreneur like yourself is doing with their executive assistant. And so that's really cool to see that it's not only being used to attract new business, but it's also being used to educate their community that they have.
All right, Alex. It would be very easy for you to take these videos and post them to YouTube. Curious why you wouldn't just do that versus using a private video host like SproutVideo.
The most important thing for us is having a really clear, no distractions place for your content to live. If you send your client a YouTube link, what is the first thing that their eyeball is going to see? It's either going to be an ad, it's going to be the recommendation on the side for a movie trailer or something else that's going to catch their attention. And by the time they come back to your video, you've already lost them. The more that you can attract them, but the easier it is to click away, that's just another fight. You're adding another fight. And the second piece is just control. YouTube is really clunky to embed in websites. and slow. Plus, you have the ads. And we want to be able to control as much for our clients as possible so that they're not worried about it. And that's where using Sprout has been really helpful is I pick the freeze frames for them. I give them the embed codes. I do everything I humanly can except for put it on their website. That way they never have to think about it again. And that's really why we would never touch YouTube.
Okay, Alex, final question. At what point does it make sense for a company to outsource customer testimonial capture, production to a company like CoverStory versus doing it in-house?
Everybody knows they need to do testimonials. They need these customer success stories, but it is the 15th, 16th, 17th thing on your list. Hey, instead of doing this once a year or twice a year, one of our clients, every single time one of their own clients hits the 6-month mark working with them, they get introduced to us and we do a cover story with them. We do a testimonial interview. For another client, we're a part of their post-deal process where they get a press release, they get a, kind of next steps email of what to expect, and then, hey, can you do this testimonial? So that's what we found is really the best place to work with companies to say, hey, where can we fit into your process? So the thing that is on 16th on your list is completely off your list and we're handling.
Yeah, Alex, I love the idea of inserting yourself at the 6-month point. It's part of a more natural flow within a customer's journey, and it makes capturing the customer testimonials more of a seamless process. We thank you so much for your time today. You've shared some really great insights. You've shared a little bit of your secret sauce, and I feel like there's so much value for our customers that want to produce customer testimonials themselves or outsource it to a company like CoverStory. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Tim. It was great to be here. Appreciate Sprout. Our business runs on it, so it's great to be here talking with you.
And cut!